Yo, it's your boy WesTheTech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist grow in your craft. Now, today we're going to go over the best music distribution companies for 2025, all right? So if you're a recording artist who's looking into distributing your music for the first time this year, then this is the perfect video for you, because in this video, I'm going to go over the top 3 music distribution companies to choose in 2025 when it comes to releasing your music, all right? Now, before I continue, I definitely want to let you guys know about my free music business checklist that's available to download off of my website right now. This is for any one of you guys who's looking into starting your own music business but don't quite know where to start. With this free tool, you'll actually be able to identify 3 things that you could do right away to start your own music business. So if you want to grab this free tool today, you can click on the link above. I'll also leave the link in the descriptions below, all right? Now, if for those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, I'll let you guys know right up front that this is something that I do every year. The reason I do this every year is because terms change, conditions change, prices change, services that's offers change, and all of these different changes happen to distribution companies all the time. So it's always good to revisit them to check to see which ones are still the most ideal options, right? That's why I always do this in the beginning of every year, because I just want to make sure, especially for those of you who are signing up for a distributor for the first time, or if you're tired of your distribution company and you're trying to find a better option, then you have this video here to at least guide you in the right direction. Now, I say all that to say that the options that I pick are my personal recommendations, all right? I'm not saying these are the best in the world. These are my opinion, based off of the information that I have, based off of the experience that I have had with them, and based off key factors that I believe are the most important key factors when it comes to distribution companies, all right? Now, those key factors are what ultimately creates my personal list, all right? Again, if you like different things and you don't like those particular factors, then maybe this ain't the video for you, but I'm making my judgments off of those factors, all right? And those factors are primarily the first, which is the most important, the price, obviously, all right? Now, when it comes to the price, I don't deal with any pay-per-release plans. I think pay-per-release plans get super expensive, because the more you release music, the more you have to pay. I'm all about subscription plans, because if you're going to be making music and having an actual music career, subscription plans work out better in the long run, because you're not paying for every single song that comes out, right? So all my options are going to be subscription-based plans, but they're going to be the best price subscription plans out there, all right? The next thing that I factor in is obviously the royalty payout. How much of the royalties are you going to be able to keep as the artist? Is there going to be any commissions that the music distribution company is going to take for distributing your music on your releases? This is another very important factor that can make or break whether you want to go with a distribution company or not. And finally, YouTube content ID. I feel like YouTube content ID is one of those things that is an absolute must, right? Now, of course, there's people out there who will argue against it. Of course, there are people out there who don't feel like it's that much of a big deal. But for me personally, being an artist for as long as I've been, having YouTube content ID and seeing how it has protected my music, seeing how I have gained revenue off of YouTube with my music, I think that YouTube content ID is non-negotiable, all right? So every distribution company that you will ever hear me recommend will have YouTube content ID. So these are the 3 factors, and this is, again, where I base my judgment on. Now, just to jump straight into it, I'm going to give you guys my top 3 options from least to best, all right? And we're going to start with number 3, DistroKid, all right? DistroKid is old faithful. DistroKid is the one who's been here for the longest as far as the most recognized, right? We always see ads about it. We know it's the most popular. We know beginner artists, this is one of the first ones they go to. This is the most recommended one, so on and so forth. So DistroKid is definitely going to make the list for this year, as it makes it for every list. But I do believe there are 2 better options out there, and I'm going to explain why. First and foremost, when it comes to DistroKid's pricing is not that bad considering all the features that they have, right? DistroKid's pricing is only $39.99 a year, which is basically $40 a year, all right? Now, of course, they do have a monthly plan as well that you can pay $3 and certain cents a month, but that ends up costing more than the $40 a year, right? So DistroKid, as far as price-wise, is going to make the list because that $39.99 is absolutely great considering, again, all the features that they have. Now, I know that there are other distribution companies out there that are cheaper, $20 subscriptions, so on and so forth. But I'm telling you guys right now, 90% of the other distribution companies out there do not have all the benefits and all the features that DistroKid has. And a lot of those features I feel are important. Obviously, they're not as important as the price, the royalties, and the YouTube content ID, but they're still important for you as an artist, like Spotify for artists. You need to be able to have access to that. Apple Music for artists. You need to be able to have access for that. DistroKid has these features, and the other two that I'm going to be talking about in this list also have those features as well. All right, so $39.99 is their annual fee to have it, right? Now, the best part about it and the biggest selling point of DistroKid is the royalty payouts, because they actually pay out 100% of your royalties to you, right? There's no commissions with DistroKid. They don't keep any percentage of your royalties at all, right? This is obviously the biggest selling point. We have plenty out there that, takes 9%, takes 10%, takes 15%, takes 20%, right? Especially a lot of the free ones out there. All of the free, quote unquote, free distribution companies out there, they will actually take a percentage of your royalties. So whether you paid in the beginning or you paid at the back end, you're going to pay for more. Again, I always love having 100% royalties, and I'll pay the annual fee rather than you're taking a percentage out of all my streaming. Because if I make $1 million off of my stream song, you're going to get 15% of that, which is a lot of money. You get what I'm saying? It's actually $150,000 to be exact. But to pay that much to a distributor is insane to me. So I don't like the percentage based for me, which is why I think DistroKid is a great option, right? But the biggest con to DistroKid is when we talk about YouTube Content ID. Why? Because DistroKid actually has an extra cost associated to having YouTube Content ID. And that extra cost can be very, very expensive. And the reason I say that is because with YouTube Content ID, you actually have to pay $4.99 per single and $14.99 per album. And on top of that, they're going to be collecting 20% of the YouTube Content ID revenue that you make off of your music. This is insane. Not so much the 20% part, but more so the $5 for the single and the $15 for the year. Because guys, this is not a one-time fee. This is an annual fee, which means once you release the song, every year, you're going to be paying $5 to keep the YouTube Content ID on that song. So let's just do some simple math real quick. If you have 3 songs, 3 singles, that's $15 in YouTube Content ID. Plus you're already paying $40 a year, right? That is going to be a total of $55, right? Every year. You're going to be paying $55 every year for as long as you're with DistroKid. And that's only 3 songs. The more songs you make and the more songs you release, the more you Content ID $5 you have to add on to it. You drop albums, same thing, right? So you can find yourself paying hundreds of dollars a year just to keep the Content ID, because it's not a one-time fee. You have to permanently pay it every year. And this is the biggest con to DistroKid. And this is the reason that I feel like a lot of people won't go to DistroKid. And I wouldn't blame you if you did not want DistroKid because of this alone. Because again, this can get very, very expensive, right? If you have 100 songs, that's $400 every year, or I'm sorry, $500 every year just to Content ID, YouTube Content ID. That's insane. Nobody wants to pay that. That's way too much money. So this is why DistroKid only makes it on the 3rd spot. It cannot be better than the other 2 because of this specifically, all right? But it's always going to make the list, in my opinion, because again, DistroKid has the most features and benefits than any other distribution company out there. That's without question, right? So you got to kind of think of DistroKid as the Lamborghini of music distribution companies, right? It's excellent, great features, all of those things, but it's a little pricey, especially when you're talking about YouTube Content ID and the other stuff, right? But I'll be honest, I know a lot of people always talk about the other things that they charge, all the other fees and stuff. Most of those other things have workarounds. So to me, those don't count. For example, DistroKid, you have to pay an extra cost to get your lyrics distributed, right? They'll only distribute it to, I believe, Apple Music, but if you want it everywhere else, you have to pay a fee for that, right? With DistroKid. But Music Match can distribute your lyrics for free. That's a workaround. You don't need DistroKid for your lyrics. You can just go to Music Match and distribute it for free. Most of the other fees that they have, there's workarounds to get around those things. So the only one that you're really looking at and the only one that you can't really avoid is the YouTube Content ID. So DistroKid is going to hold the third spot. And the next two that I'm going to bring up are, in my opinion, better than DistroKid. All right. So moving on to the second option. The second distributor that I feel that has to make this list for this year is Symphonic. All right. Symphonic is an absolutely great distribution company. Symphonic, in my opinion, is the only distribution company that I have seen that has offered as much features that DistroKid has, and they might have a little bit more. There's a lot of great features that Symphonic has that DistroKid actually doesn't have, but they have a lot of the things that they have as well. One of those features, another one of those features, just throwing it out there, is hyperlinks, right? DistroKid has on hyperlink. They'll basically create a link page for people to find your music on Apple Music and all of those things, right? Symphonic has the same deal, but they partner with Hypedit. You get what I'm saying? A lot of these other distribution companies don't even have hyperlinks, right? So these are the type of features that you could actually get with DistroKid and Symphonic, which is why they make the list. Now, when it comes to Symphonic specifically, you're looking at an annual fee of $19.99 per year, which is obviously better than DistroKid. It's actually half the cost is DistroKid. So price-wise, annually, it's much, much better because you're saving $20. But where the biggest con is for Symphonic is actually in the royalties department, because in the royalties, you're actually going to be able to only keep 85% of your royalties. Why? Because Symphonic takes a 15% commission off of whatever royalties that they collect for you, all right? So because you're not keeping 100% of your royalties, this could be a big reason as to why you may not want Symphonic versus DistroKid. Now, in the beginning, 15% isn't that much. But again, if you go viral and start making crazy amount of streaming revenue off of your music, that 15% is going to keep getting higher and higher and higher. So Symphonic actually can end up in the same situation of being as expensive with DistroKid when it comes to YouTube Content ID, but it'll get expensive with them through the percentage of the commission, right? So this is the biggest drawback when it comes to Symphonic. But when you're looking at the third factor, YouTube Content ID, with YouTube Content ID, there's actually no extra cost to having YouTube Content ID with Symphonic, but they will keep 30% of the YouTube Content ID revenue when it comes to Symphonic. Now, I will be honest with you guys, there's not that many distribution companies out there in general that's not going to take a commission off of the YouTube Content ID anyway, right? So this is kind of across the board. The average percentage that I typically see is 20%, right? Symphonic is 10% more. It's 30%, which is more than the norm, right? So you look at that 30% and then you look at the 15% they take off of commission. So you're paying more in the back end with Symphonic than up front, because like I said, it's only $20. But again, with Symphonic is very similar to DistroKid, where the features almost outweigh the additional cost, because there's so many features that it has that is very, very helpful to artists. When you're talking about the analytics, when you're talking about, like I said, the hyperlinks and just all of the other different things that Symphonic offer. They offer a lot of different things, sync licensing opportunities. Symphonic has a bunch of things, right? But again, it is going to be costly when you're looking at the percentage, right? Of course, for you may not have, that's not something that you're paying like an annual fee. It's not something that you're paying like the YouTube Content ID for DistroKid. It's something that they're going to be just taking out of whatever money you make. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's not that bad. But if you're trying to outweigh your options, right, this is something that you can consider, right? And like I said in the beginning, there's no perfect option, right? You're going to pay one way or the other, but there are the cream of the crop when it comes to the options you have. And I feel like these two and the final one that I'm going to bring up now are your best options. Now, coming up at the number one spot, coming up as the best music distribution company that I feel that's head over heels above the other two, especially when we're talking about these three key things that everyone absolutely needs. The number one spot holds and is going to be for this year, Landr. Oh my goodness. When you're just looking at these three things right here, Landr is unbeatable. Unbeatable. Landr takes the cake when it comes to the best music distribution company for 2025 because of these factors. The price, all right? Now, the price is $23.99, right? Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, how is that better? Symphonic is $20. Symphonic is $20. Yeah, it's cheaper than DistroKid, but it's more than Symphonic. Well, it's only $4 more, right? It's only $4 more, but you keep 100% of your royalties just like DistroKid. See what I'm saying? Landr is basically the happy medium between the two because it's it's less than DistroKid, a little bit more than Symphonic, but you keep 100% of your royalties, so it keeps the best of the both worlds. There's no commission that they're taking out of your royalties, right? You keep 100% of your royalties. Now, the only time that they would take a commission, and I feel like this is something I should say anyway, is if you can no longer pay the annual $23.99 fee. To me, that is dope. That's absolutely great, and actually a model that I feel like every other distribution company should have, right? That has a subscription. Because I'm telling you guys right now, if you stop paying DistroKid, they will take your music down. If you end your subscription with a lot of other distributors, they will take your music down. With Landr, they won't take your music down. They'll keep your music up, but they will take a commission off of it as long as you're not paying the subscription, which means your music stays up. But now they're going to take a cut from it they're going to take a cut from your stream. I think this is excellent. And what's cool about it is if you could start paying the annual premium again, all you got to do is contact them and then they'll go back to the $23.99 with you. So I feel like they're the perfect distributor when it comes to that model of the pricing, because at the end of the day, your music will never be taken down, right? It'll go from $23 a year. If you cannot pay that anymore, they're going to take a percentage out of it, which is, I believe, 15% like Symphonic anyway, right? And then when you can start paying it again, $23.99. Like I said, I feel like Landr is the best of both worlds when it comes to Symphonic and DistroKid, when it comes to the pricing, because they really work with you. And like I said, it's 100% commission as long as you can pay your annual fee. And if you can't, it's 85% commission versus Symphonic, it's 85. And if you don't pay the subscription, they're going to take your stuff down anyway. You get what I'm saying? So these two alone make Landr much, much better than the other two. And then, of course, we talk about our favorite, the YouTube Content ID. When it comes to the YouTube Content ID, with Landr, there's no extra cost, just like Symphonic. There's no extra cost to having it, but they only take 20% of it, just like DistroKid. So it's not 30% like Symphonic, it's 20%. Like I said, Landr, when you're looking at these three things specifically, is a cut above the other two, because it's just, to me, it's like the best benefits of DistroKid, the best benefits of Symphonics rolled in one, and boom, that's what Landr is. Now, some of you guys may only know Landr when it comes to the mix and mastering company, you know, the AI mix and mastering, because let me tell you, if you don't know, they have the best AI software for AI mastering, period. They've been doing it for years, much, much longer than a lot of these other places, including eMaster. They got this thing down to a science, and it's perfect right now. So if you're looking for AI mastering, they have that too, and that's what they're primarily known for. But a lot of people don't know that they do music distribution as well, and their music distribution is, like I said, better than DistroKid and Symphonic combined. So definitely look into Landr if you're looking at the best distribution off company for you for this year. And watching this video, if you click on this link above, you'll actually be able to save 20% off of your purchase. Whatever you decide to purchase, whether it's the subscription first purchase, whether it's the Studio Pro version of it, where you get the AI mastering and you get the distribution, whatever option you choose, you'll actually be able to save 20% off of your purchase with it if you click on that link. And like I said, I'll leave that referral link in the descriptions below as well. So it's essentially unbeatable price-wise. Obviously, with the referral link, you get it cheaper than both of them, at least for a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Either way, Landr is the go-to, at least for this year, when it comes to music distribution in my eyes. Now, it may not have all the laundry list of benefits that the other two have, but it has all the important stuff that I look for, all the important stuff that you should look for when it comes to distributor. And to me, I don't see any gray areas or any bad things about Landr. Landr is just cream of the crop. It's here to stay. Obviously, Landr has been here for a while. It's just been known more for something else rather than its distribution. But I gotta hand it to them. They have the best distribution company out there. They are the best ones for you guys to actually look into for this year. Now, all three of these options, like I said, are great, right? They all have their pros and cons, but Landr is a cut above the other two. And I'm not just telling you guys this because of information. I know I've used all three of these distributors. I have distributed music with all three of them, and it just is what it is. These to me are the best ones, right? Landr is a step above. Customer service, if you're someone who cares about customer service, Landr and Symphonic would be the way to go anyway. DistroKid, they take forever to contact. DistroKid, you're not getting DistroKid for the customer service. I'll just say it like that, right? Landr customer service is great, right? It's just Landr is the way to go when you're looking at these three, but ultimately it's up to you. It's whichever one of these that you want to go for. All right, now, I know that there's other features, and I know that there's special cases, like if you're artists who do cover song or this, that, and the third, right? There may be different scenarios that another distributor may be the best for you. But again, if you're looking at the price, royalties, YouTube content ID alone, these are your options. These are the ones that you should go for. And these are basically the class of 2025 when it comes to music distribution companies. All right. But I definitely want to get you guys' thoughts. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about these distribution companies. All right. Let me know what experiences that you may have had with these, or if you feel like there's a distribution company out there that's better than these three, right? Because the more information that I get, the more information that I can share with everybody else that watches my channel. But trust me, a lot of the distribution companies out there, I've already checked. I've already done research for. There's over 15 to 20 distribution companies that I've done videos on already, right? And out of all the ones that I've researched over the years and been following, these are the three that you want to look into most importantly if you're looking at distributing your music for this year. All right, but that's pretty much it, guys. That's what this video was about. Now, of course, before I let you guys go, I'll let you know about my book here, The 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. All right, this is for those of you who are simply just sick and tired of working your 9-to-5 job. If you want to be in a position that you can do music full time, like myself, this is what you need, right? That 13, the 3 tools that I was saying in the beginning, those are in this as well. But this is the full roadmap. This is the same roadmap that I took to put myself in a position to leave my 9-to-5 job to do music full time. I've been doing music full time for years now, and every principle, every step that I took is in this book. So make sure you grab this book. It comes in paperback form, and it comes as an ebook. So if you want the ebook, you can literally start reading it today. All right. But you could grab that. Like I said, the link is in the description for that as well. All right. But that's pretty much it, guys. I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment sections of the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there may be a hidden distribution company out there that you feel like is better than these two. Let me know, because again, the more information I have, the more information I can share with everybody else, because we're a community of independent artists growing together. All right. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace. I'm feeling like David. Can't nobody slay me. I feel like Moses. Big Moses. Can't nobody hold me. I'm feeling like Daniel. Big phase me. Yeah.